Club, and today we are going to be reading The Enormous Crocodile. Roar! And in episode 1, the book we read was Scrambled Egg Super. And thank you for 100 views in the video. Everyone who's watched it, if you're watching this episode, please like and subscribe. Now let's get to reading this book. In the biggest, brownest, muddiest river in Africa, two crocodiles lay with their heads just above the water. One crocodile was enormous. The other was not so big, kind of my size. Did you know what I would like for my lunch today? The enormous crocodile asked. No, the not so one said. What? The enormous crocodile grinned, showing 100 sharp teeth. For my lunch today, he said, I would like a nice, juicy little child. I never eat children, the not so big one said. Only fish. Still. Ho, 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 cried the enormous crocodile. I bet if you saw a fat, juicy little child paddling in the water at this very moment, you'd gulp him in one big gulp. No, I wouldn't, the not so big one said. And chewy and nasty, and they are tough and chewy and nasty and bitter. They are tough and chewy and they're tough and chewy, cried the enormous crocodile. Nasty and bitter, what an awful Tommy rot you talk. They are juicy and yummy. They taste so bitter. The not so big one said, you have to cover with sugar before you can eat them. Children are bigger than fish, said the enormous crocodile. You get bigger helpings. You are greedy, the not so big one said. You're the greediest croc in the whole river. I'm the bravest croc in the whole river, said the enormous crocodile. I am the only one who dares to leave the water and go through the jungle to the town to look for little children to eat. You've only done that once, snorted the not so big one. And what happened then? They all saw you coming and ran away. But today when I go, they won't see me at all. The enormous crocodile. Of course they'll see you. You're so enormous and ugly, they'll see you from miles away. The enormous crocodile grinned against him. Terribly sharp teeth sparkled like knives in the sun. Nobody will see me, he said, because this time I've got a secret plan and clever trick. Clever tricks, correct the not so big one. You've never done anything clever in your life. You've never done anything clever in your life. You're the stupidest croc on this whole river. Here's a picture. He's trying to. I'm the cleverest croc in the whole river. I'm the enormous crocodile answered. The enormous crocodile answered. For my lunch today, I shall feast upon the fat, juicy little child while you lie here in the river feeling hungry. Goodbye! The enormous crocodile swam to the side of the river and crawled out of the water. A gigantic creature was standing in the slimy, oozy mud in the riverbank. It was Humpy Dumpy the hippopotamus. Hello, hello, said Humpy Dumpy. Where on earth are you off at this time of day? Secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. Oh dear, said Humpy Dumpy. I bet you are going to do something horrid. The enormous crocodile grinned at Humpy Dumpy and said, I'm going to fill my hungry empty tummy with something yummy, yummy, yummy. Huh? What's so yummy? Asked Humpy Dumpy. Tried to guess, said the crocodile. It's something that walks on two legs. You don't mean, said Humpy Dumpy. I'm gonna eat a little child. Of course I am, said the crocodile. Oh, you horrid, greedy, grumpyish brute, cried Humpy Dumpy. I hope you get caught and turned into crocodile soup. Of course, that won't happen and he'll be turned into a bag, mostly. The enormous crocodile laughed out loud. Humpy Dumpy that waddled off into the jungle. Inside the jungle, he met Trunky the elephant. Trunky was nibbling on leaves from the top of the tall tree. He didn't notice the crocodile at first, so the crocodile bit him on the leg. Ow, said Trunky in his big deep voice. Who did that? Oh, it's you beastly crocodile. Why don't you get back to the big brown muddy river where you belong? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. You mean your nasty plans and nasty tricks, said Trunky. You've never done a nice thing in your life. The enormous crocodile grinned up at Trunky and said, I'm off to find a yummy child for lunch. Keep listening and you'll hear the bones go crunch. Oh, you wicked beastly beast, cried Trunky. Oh, you foul, filthy find. Hope you get squished and squashed and squeezed and boiled up into crocodile stew. The enormous crocodile laughed out loud and disappeared from the thick jungle. A bit further on he met Mugglewump the monkey. Mugglewump was sitting on a tree eating nuts. Here's a picture of Mugglewump. Here he's eating nuts. He is gonna eat this one. It's Hello, Croaky, said Mugglewump. What are you up to now? I have secret plans and clever tricks, said the crocodile. Would you like some nuts? Asked Mugglewump. I have better things to, than to eat nuts, sniffled the crocodile. I didn't think there was anything better than nuts, Mugglewump. Aha, said the enormous crocodile. The sort of thing I'm gonna eat has fingers and toenails and arms and legs and feet. Mugglewump went pale and began to shake all over. You aren't really gonna gobble up a little child, are you? He said. Of course I am, said the crocodile. Clothes and all. They taste better when you with the clothes on. Oh, you horrid, hoggish croc, cried Mugglewump. You slimy creature. Hope the buttons and buckles stick to your throat and choke you to death. The crocodile grinned up at Mugglewump and said, I eat monkey too, and quick as flash with one bite in his huge jaws. He bit through the trees that Mugglewump was sitting in, and down it came. Here's a picture of the enormous crocodile. Right here. Just in time, Mugglewump jumped into the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further on, the enormous crocodile met the roly-poly bird. The roly-poly bird was building a nest in an orange tree. Well, not literally an orange tree, like the orange fruit tree. Hello there, enormous crocodile, sang the roly-poly bird. Hello. We don't often see you up here in the jungle. Ah, said the enormous crocodile. I have secret plans and clever tricks. I hope it's not something nasty. I hope it's not something nasty, sang the roly-poly bird. Nasty, cried the crocodile. Of course it's not nasty, it's delicious. It's luscious, it's super, it's mushiest, it's duper, it's better than rotten old fish. You mash it and munch it, and you chew it, you crunch it. It has a lovely, to hear it go squish. It must be berries, sang the roly-poly bird. Berries are my favorite food in the world. It's raspberries, perhaps, or could it be strawberries? The enormous crocodile laughed so much his teeth rattled together like pennies in a money box. Crocodiles don't eat berries, he said. We like boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well. Birds as well. Very quickly, the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaws at the roly-poly bird. He missed the bird, but he managed to catch hold of the long, beautiful feathers in its tail. The roly-poly gave a shriek of terror and shot straight up in the air, leaving its tail feathers behind the enormous crocodile's mouth. Well, at least she has one more left. Here's a picture of the funny part. At least he still has one feather. At last, the enormous crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. Ho ho! He said, talking aloud to himself. Ha ha! That walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child isn't gonna be nearly enough for me to get a day. I won't be full until I've eaten at last 3 little children. He started to creep forward towards the town. The enormous crocodile crept to a place where there were a lot of coconut trees. He knew that children from town often came here for looking for coconuts. The trees weren't too tall for him to climb, but there were always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen. The enormous crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were lying on the ground. He also gathered together several fallen branches. Now for the clever trick number 1. He whispered to himself, "It won't be long before I am eating the first part of my lunch." He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth. He grasped the coconuts in the front paws, then he stood straight up in the air, balancing himself on his tail. He arranged the branches and like coconuts so cleverly that he now looked exactly like a small coconut tree standing among the big coconut trees. Soon 2 children came along. They were brother and sister. The boy called Toto, his sister was called Mary. They walked around looking for fallen coconuts, but they couldn't find any because the enormous crocodile had gathered them all up. "Oh, look!" cried Toto. "The tree over there is much smaller than the others, and it's full of coconuts. I think I could climb one of them quite easily if you can help me at the first bit." Toto and Mary ran towards what they had thought was the small coconut tree. The enormous crocodile peered through the branches, watching as they came closer and closer. He licked his lips and began dribbling with excitement. Suddenly there was a tree enormous whooshing noise. It was Humpty Dumpty the hippopotamus. "Look out, Mary, that's not a coconut tree. It's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you up." Humpty Dumpty charged straight at the enormous crocodile. And look, now they've realized that's not a coconut tree, just the enormous crocodile's plots. He really shouldn't have told anyone. He caught with his giant head and sent him tumbling and skangling over the ground. "Owie!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back as fast as they could. But the crocodile was tough and difficult for even the hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself up and crept towards the place where the children's playground was. Now for clever trick number This one is certain to work. There were no children in the playground. That moment, they were all in school. The enormous crocodile found a large piece of wood and placed it in the middle of the playground. And he laid himself on the piece of wood and tucked to see him his feet, so he looked at the amount exactly. He looked almost exactly like a seesaw. He caught him with a giant head and sent him tumbling, skidding on the ground. "Owie!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back to the town as fast as they could, but the crocodiles are tough. It's difficult for even the hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself and crept towards the place where the children's playground was. "Now for clever trick number 2, said to himself. "This one is certain to work." There were no children in the playground at that moment. They were all in school. The enormous crocodile found a large piece of wood and placed it in the middle of the playground. Then he laid across the piece of wood and tucked in his feet so that he looked almost exactly like a seesaw. Here's a picture of the enormous crocodile in his seesaw form. When school was over, the children all came running to the playground. "Oh, look!" they cried. "We got a new seesaw!" They all crowded around, shouting with excitement. "Bags! I have to first get on the other end. I want to go first. So do I. So do I." All of them want to go on the seesaw. Then a girl who's older than the others said, "It's rather funny. We started to see sort of a seesaw, isn't it? It's a funny Novi sort of seesaw, isn't it? Do you think it's safe to sit on?" "Of course it will," the other said. "It looks stronger than anything." The others, "It looks strong as anything." The enormous crocodile opened one eye just a tiny bit and watched the children who were crowding around him. "Soon, though, one of them is going to sit on my head. Then I will get a jerk and it'll be yummy yum." At the moment, there was the At the moment, there was a flash of brown, and something jumped into the playground and hopped up to the top of the swing. It was Mugglewump the monkey. "Run, Mugglewump! Run!" Mugglewump shouted to the children. "All of you, run, run, run! It's not a seesaw, it's the enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you up." The children screamed and ran for their lives. Mugglewump disappeared at the back into the jungle, and the enormous crocodile was left alone in the playground. Again, he cursed the monkey and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm getting hungrier and hungrier," said he. "I need to eat at least 4 children before I am full up." The enormous crocodile crept around the edge of town and talked in great care to a place where they would have a fair. There were slides and swings and dog and cars and people sitting selling popcorn and candy floss. There was also a big roundabout. The roundabout had marvelous wooden creatures for the children to ride on. There were white horses and lions and tigers and mermaids fishes with fishes' tails and fearsome dragons with red tongues sticking out of their mouths. The picture is not here. Now for a clever trick number 3. The enormous crocodile licked his lips. When no one was looking, he crept up on the roundabout and put himself between a wooden lion and a fearsome dragon. He sat up between his back legs and kept very still. He looked exactly like a wooden crocodile. On the roundabout, soon all sorts of children came flocking into the fair. Several of them ran towards the roundabout. They were excited. I'm gonna ride on the dragon, cried one. Oh, now the picture of the roundabout came. Here, this is a picture of the roundabout. I'm gonna sit on the lovely white horse, cried another. I'm gonna sit on the lion, cried the third. And the little girl named Jill said, I'm gonna ride on the funny old wooden crocodile. You know, Miss Crocodile kept very still, but he could see the little girl coming towards him. Yummy, yum, yum, he thought. I'll gulp her up easily in one gulp. Suddenly, three was a swish, swish, and swoosh. Something came swishing and swooshing in the sky. It was the roly-poly bird. Hey, roly-poly bird's coming for revenge. Singing, look out, Jill! Look out, look out! Don't ride on the crocodile! Jill stopped and looking up, that's not a wooden crocodile. That's not a wooden crocodile, sang the roly-poly bird. It's a real one. It's a, it's a real one. It's the enormous crocodile. It's the enormous crocodile from the river and he wants to eat you up. Here. Now everyone's like, get away. Jill turned and ran. So did all the other children. Every man who was walking the roundabout jumped off and ran away as fast as he could. The enormous crocodile cursed the roly-poly bird and waddled back into the bushes to hide. I am so hungry now, he said to himself. I could eat 6 children before I am full up. 6 children, oh my, it's getting more and more. Just outside town, there was a pretty little field with trees and bushes around it. It was called the picnic place. There were several wooden tables and long benches, and people who were allowed to go there have a picnic at any time. The enormous crocodile crept over the picnic place. There was no one in sight. No one. Now for the clever trick number 4. He whispered to himself. I picked a lovely bunch of flowers. He picked a lovely bunch of flowers and arranged them on one of the tables. From the same table, he took away one of the benches and hid it in the bushes. Then he had put himself to the place where the bench had been, tucking his head under the chest, and by twisting his tail out of sight, he made himself look very much like a long wooden bench with four legs. Soon two boys and girls came along carrying baskets of food. They were all sitting in one family, and their mother had said they could go out and have have a picnic together. Which table shall we sit at? Said one. Let's take the table with lovely flowers on it, said another. Oh, that's the one with the enormous crocodile. He's all working. Hope you please like and subscribe. It's me signing off.